Hey everyone, and welcome. You guys sent in some really interesting stuff this week, and I'm so excited to dive into this YouTube video with you. How dogs can recognize a bad person.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating one.
I know, right? And I think it'll really blow some minds about all the things our dogs are capable of doing that we might not even realize.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The title of the video is pretty straightforward. Can dogs really spot a bad person? Like, are they like these furry lie detectors? The video mentions a study from the Journal of Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Reviews.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about what they did in that study.
Well, they basically had these dogs watch their owners interacting with actors, and the actors were either helpful or they were neutral or unhelpful.
Okay, interesting. So how did the dogs react?
Well, afterwards, the actors would offer the dogs treats. Okay.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Yeah, and so with the helpful actor, the dogs like happily took the treats, but then with the unhelpful actor, they would completely reject the treats.
Wow. So they were really paying attention and they knew who was nice to their owner and who wasn't.
Yeah. It's like they understood the actor's behavior toward their owner and made a judgment about it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just about the treats, it was about who was giving them the treats.
Exactly. It seems like they were picking up on something more.
Like they had this sense of, hey, you mistreated my human, I don't want anything from you.
That's right. It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It really is. And the video, it also talks about, I think, a Japanese study about dogs being tricked.
Oh, right, right, where they pointed to a container that didn't have a treat.
Yes, exactly. And then later on, when they actually pointed to the right container, the dogs didn't believe them anymore.
They were like, yeah, I'm not falling for that again.
Yeah. Like, I remember you, liar. So it makes you wonder, right? This whole idea of a bad person sense.
Hmm.
Is it connected to their incredible sense of smell?
I mean, their sense of smell is so much more powerful than ours. I think it definitely plays a role.
It has to. I mean, the video even says that dogs can remember their owner's scent forever.
Oh, I've definitely heard that. And it makes sense when you consider, like, how emotional their reactions are when they see their owners again.
Right? Even after being apart for years.
Yeah.
Like the way they freak out with joy, their whole body language changes.
Right, they're saying, "You're back. I knew I'd smell you again someday."
That's amazing. And I think there's like a scientific reason for that too, right?
Yeah, their sense of smell is directly linked to the emotional centers in their brain.
So it's not just about recognizing the smell.
No, it's triggering all these feelings of happiness and excitement.
Wow. So if good smells trigger good feelings, could bad smells maybe trigger warnings? Like maybe that's why dogs are sometimes afraid of certain people.
Well, the video did mention a study about fear and dog bites and how people who are anxious around dogs are more likely to be bitten.
Ah, so it's like the dogs are sensing that fear.
Yeah, maybe they can smell those subtle changes in body chemistry that happen when we're afraid.
It makes you wonder how much they're picking up that we're completely oblivious to.
Absolutely. It's like they have this whole other level of perception.
Okay, this next part is going to blow your mind. The video suggests that dogs can smell changes in a person's brain chemistry.
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah, like maybe that explains why some dogs react negatively to people before any obvious signs of a threat.
It's like they have this sixth sense for danger or something.
Right, it's almost like they're sensing bad intentions before they even manifest in behavior.
That's a pretty incredible idea to think about.
Yeah, this ability to sense subtle cues, I'm sure it ties into their amazing ability to read body language.
Oh, absolutely. They're like body language experts, both for dogs and humans.
That makes sense. I mean, so much of their communication is nonverbal,
Right.
right?
Exactly. So it's natural that they've evolved to pick up on even the tiniest cues in our body language.
So, like if my dog starts acting weird around someone, it might not be because that person is actually a bad person,
Right. Maybe they're just sensing something we're not consciously aware of.
like some underlying tension or nervousness. It's like they have a built-in lie detector or something.
That's a really good way to put it. They're constantly analyzing the nonverbal signals around them.
Okay, get ready for this one because this one's pretty amazing. Dogs can actually detect serious illnesses.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that, like cancer.
Right, like cancer. The video talks about a study from UC Davis where researchers found that dogs could actually smell the difference between cancerous cells and healthy cells.
It's amazing. It's like they have these super noses that can sniff out disease.
It's incredible. And there's this organization in the UK called Medical Detection Dogs that actually trains dogs to sniff out cancer in different samples,
Hmm.
like breath, urine, even sweat.
Wait, sweat? Seriously?
Yeah, they're sniffing sweat to detect cancer. The potential for this is huge, don't you think?
Absolutely. Imagine if we could use dogs to help diagnose diseases early on.
Right. That's the exciting part. And it's not just cancer. The video also mentions how dogs can help diabetics by sensing changes in blood sugar levels.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they can even predict seizures and migraines.
That's incredible. They really are like these furry superheroes, aren't they?
You really are. But let's talk about something a little bit more everyday. Have you ever noticed how some dogs just bark at certain dogs and not at others?
Oh, yeah, all the time. It's like they have their favorites or their enemies.
Right. And the video says that it's not just random. It's actually because they're reacting to specific cues in the other dog's body language,
Makes sense. They're probably picking up on things we don't even notice.
like a stiff tail or a tense mouth. Those are all signs that another dog might be stressed or feeling aggressive.
So they're not just being picky, they're reading those subtle signals and reacting accordingly.
It's fascinating, isn't it? And the video also says that a dog's past experiences play a role, too.
Of course, if they've had a bad encounter with a certain type of dog before, they might be wary of similar dogs in the future.
Right, just like us, they carry their experiences with them. So much we can learn from dogs if we just pay attention.
I agree. They have so much to teach us if we just take the time to listen, or in their case, observe.
Exactly. This is just the beginning, too. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll uncover even more incredible canine abilities. You won't believe what else we found out.
I can't wait. They really do observe so much, don't they? It's like they're constantly taking in information about the world around them.
Yeah, it really is incredible. And it makes you wonder, right? What else are they sensing that we're just completely missing? Speaking of sensing, the video talks about dogs predicting earthquakes.
Oh, yeah, that's always an interesting one, isn't it?
I know, it sounds almost like folklore, right?
Right.
But there's so many stories of, like, dogs acting strangely right before an earthquake hits.
Yeah, like they know something's coming.
But the video doesn't really give a clear explanation for why, scientifically speaking.
No, it mentioned something about dogs maybe sensing changes in the Earth's electromagnetic field or vibrations, but it's pretty vague.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to grasp, isn't it?
It is, but it does fit with this like bigger picture of dogs having these senses that are so much sharper than our own.
Yeah, it's like, what if they can detect things that we literally can't even perceive? That's kind of freaky, but also cool.
It is. It really makes you think about the possibilities.
Okay, so beyond just sensing the physical world, what about emotions? Can dogs really sense our emotions? The video talks about dogs having empathy.
It's a fascinating idea, isn't it?
I know, and I've always wondered, like, is that just us projecting our own feelings onto them, or are they really picking up on something?
Well, there's some research that suggests dogs can recognize the physiological changes in humans when we're sad or distressed.
Wait, really? So, like, changes in our breathing or heart rate or even our scent?
Exactly. They might be picking up on all sorts of subtle cues that we're not even aware of.
So, like, they can literally smell sadness on us. That's wild. That's wild.
It's pretty amazing, and they often react in such a comforting way, like they know exactly what we need.
Yeah, they'll nuzzle you or lick your face or just sit quietly by your side.
It's one of those things that makes the bond between humans and dogs so special, isn't it?
It really is. So they're clearly very tuned in to us, but what about their social intelligence in general? I mean, they're pack animals, right? They must be good at reading social cues from other dogs.
Absolutely. And the video mentions that they can also recognize different human faces and even associate those faces with specific emotions or behaviors.
Wow, so they're not just recognizing us, they're actually remembering how we've acted in the past.
Exactly. Imagine it from the dog's perspective. If you consistently greet them with a smile and a happy voice, they'll learn to associate your face with positive emotions.
But if someone's always grumpy or yelling at them, they'll probably build a negative association with that person.
That makes sense. It really highlights how our behavior shapes a dog's perception of us.
They're always learning and adapting based on the cues we give them.
Exactly. Speaking of learning, let's talk about training. Because we know dogs are intelligent and trainable, but what makes their brains so good at picking up new things?
Yeah, like, what is it about their brains that makes them such good learners?
Well, dogs excel at associating actions with rewards, and this is actually the foundation of something called operant conditioning, which is like the fancy scientific term for how we train them.
Okay, so that means, like, if you reward a dog for sitting, they're more likely to do it again because they know it leads to something good.
Exactly. It's all about positive reinforcement, creating those positive associations.
Makes sense. And they're incredibly fast learners too, right?
Oh, yeah, some breeds are known for being like exceptionally trainable, like border collies, golden retrievers.
But even mixed breeds can be trained to do amazing things with the right approach.
Absolutely. It's just about, understanding each dog's unique personality and finding the methods that work best for them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I want to talk about something that's sometimes debated among dog owners. Dominance. Some people believe dogs are constantly trying to assert dominance over humans.
Yeah, you hear that a lot, don't you?
I do, and the video kind of touches on this, so like, is there any truth to that idea?
Well, while dogs do have a social hierarchy within their own groups, the idea that they're constantly vying for dominance over their human families is a bit of a misconception.
Okay, so it's not really about them trying to be the alpha in the household.
No, not in the way that some people think. So, like, if your dog jumps on you or barks for attention, it's not necessarily a power play.
It's more likely they're just excited or they need something.
Exactly. Remember, they're social creatures. They thrive on interaction. So sometimes those behaviors are just their way of trying to communicate with us.
Makes sense. So it's more about building a strong bond based on mutual respect and understanding, not about who's in charge.
That's right. It's about creating a balanced relationship where both the dog and the human feel safe and loved.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, I want to shift gears to something a bit more mysterious, and the video touches on this a little bit. Intuition.
Ooh, okay.
I've always been fascinated by this idea that dogs just know things.
Like they have this sixth
Yeah,
sense.
like they can sense things before they happen. Have you ever felt that with your dog?
I think a lot of dog owners have had those moments where it seems like their dog just knows something's up.
Yeah, and the video even mentions some pretty incredible stories, like dogs sensing their owner's pregnancy or illness before the person even knew.
Those stories are amazing, aren't they? It's like they have this deep connection that goes beyond our understanding.
I know. And there's not really a scientific explanation for it yet, but it's definitely intriguing.
It makes you wonder if there's some level of communication happening that we haven't figured out yet.
Right. Like maybe there are these subtle cues that we're just not picking up on, but they are.
It's a mystery that keeps us fascinated by the canine mind, that's for sure.
It really is. Okay, before we wrap up part 2, I want to talk about something that's essential to the human-animal bond. Loyalty.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
I know dogs are known for their unwavering devotion to their humans, but like, where does that come from?
Well, it likely stems from their evolution as pack animals, right?
Makes sense. They're social creatures who thrive in groups.
Exactly. And they've evolved to form these really strong bonds with their pack members, and now that includes us.
So basically, they see us as part of their pack. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, it is, and they're hardwired to protect and care for their pack.
Which explains why there are so many heartwarming stories of dogs, risking their lives to save their humans or staying by their side through tough times.
It really shows the depth of that bond, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's truly remarkable, and it's a testament to their incredible capacity for love and loyalty.
Couldn't agree more.
It's amazing how much we've learned already, and there's still more to explore. Stick around for part 3, where we'll dive into even more amazing canine abilities and uncover some of the secrets behind those extraordinary senses. I can't wait. All right, welcome back, everyone, for the final part of our deep dive. I'm excited to keep uncovering these amazing canine abilities.
Me too. There's so much to talk about.
I know, right? Okay, so this one's always intrigued me. Dogs sensing weather changes. Is there any truth to that, or is that just an old wives' tale?
It's something people have observed for like centuries.
Hmm.
Sailors used to rely on dogs to warn them about approaching storms.
Really?
Yeah, so maybe there's something to it, but is it superstition or is there actual science behind it?
Right. So, like, what's the scientific explanation for this weather sensing ability?
Well, there's this theory that dogs can sense subtle changes in barometric pressure, which can indicate shifting weather patterns.
Ah, so they feel that pressure drop before a storm rolls in, and that makes them act differently.
Exactly. And it's also possible that they're picking up on changes in static electricity in the air, which we know often precedes thunderstorms.
So it's like they have this built-in weather forecasting system.
Pretty much. It's amazing what they can pick up on.
I know. Okay, let's shift gears a bit here. I want to talk about something else that's pretty incredible. Their ability to navigate.
Ah, yes, their homing instinct.
Right. Like you hear those stories of dogs getting lost and then somehow finding their way back home, sometimes after traveling like crazy distances.
Yeah, those stories are absolutely